The word consciousness itself is a problem. It is a ness. What is ness means? It's not a proper noun. You say richness. Richness is not an entity on its own somewhere. Richness is supported by somebody. There is somebody and there is richness in him. It is a secondary entity which doesn't have its own independent existence. Are you following? When you say richness, it is just it's not an independent entity. It is holding on to somebody. That somebody is primary. The word consciousness is itself a problem. It is a ness. So that word itself tells that it is not fundamental. It is a loaded word. It already assumes that it's not fundamental. Like richness, you have consciousness. So this body is fundamental and it has consciousness. That is because whenever a language develops, it develops in accordance with the mindset of that particular society. In Sanskrita, consciousness is not a ness, it is prajna, it is a proper noun. It's an independent word. Prajna is an independent word. Prajna is not being supported by something. Are you following this? So when it comes to objective aspects, world affairs, English is a very good language because modern developments and development of English happen together. So for all the external objects, you have a variety of vocabulary in English. Sometimes, not sometimes. These Hollywood movies, they get dubbed into Hindi and Tamil and Telugu also sometimes. If you watch them, you will laugh to death. Terminator, how will you translate? Transformer, how will you translate? Autobot, how will you translate? Because English has a very rich vocabulary for all external things. As science developed, English also was a part of it. So English has words for all the scientific stuff. Sanskrita doesn't have, because Sanskrita was not there, it was not part of the scientific development. But for all the subjective aspects, the inner world, Sanskrita is very rich. For all the inner experiences, Sanskrita has diverse vocabulary. English fails there. That's what you struggled with Bengali Baba. For the inner experiences, English is a very lame language because the English did not develop along with that kind of mindset. That is why they have words like this. They have handicapped words like this. Consciousness. It's already decided that it is a ness. So this is it's a fundamental problem. Otherwise, if you read Western philosophy, psychology extensively, you will find this one thing. These three things are jumbled up like anything. Consciousness, mind and self. These three words are distinctly used in Sanskrita, and there is a clear-cut demarcation. In Sanskrita, when we say chitta is inanimate, it is not conscious. Mind, whatever mind faculties it is, chitta is not conscious. Mind and consciousness are never equated in this culture. You may be conscious of the mind, that's a different thing. It is an object of your awareness. It is not aware on its own. But this three, what has happened in general, what has happened in Western philosophies, they have ended up giving mind the supreme throne, and consciousness is a subset of the mind. Your experience of me is also a subset of the mind. Mind is supreme. In Western philosophy, this is the general, not everybody, but in general, this is the idea that mind is supreme, and whenever you have conscious experience of something, so you're experiencing this brown now, so there is consciousness. All the other functions of the mind which you are not conscious of, it is the superset, that is the mind. Only the subset which gives you experience is consciousness. This is how they treat majority of them. Similarly, the feeling of me, self, is also taken as a subset of the mind. It's a part of the mind. Whereas in this Eastern culture, in the Vedanta and Yoga, self is supreme and consciousness is equated. They are used interchangeably. Prajna and Aham are same. Whatever you call as Atman and whatever you call as Prajna, they are same. Prajnanam Brahma. Consciousness and self are one and the same. Mind is just an object of your consciousness, awareness. So this is another contrast between Western way of thinking and Eastern way of thinking. This is you can read. The failure of Western psychology to discriminate awareness from contents and the resulting confusion of I with mental contents may be due to a cultural limitation. The lack of experience of most Western scientists with Eastern meditation disciplines. He's one of the American psychiatrists, I think. He has passed away a few years ago. This article I have given as reference material. It's there in the Google Drive. So culturally, they had confused it. They had confused contents of awareness to be awareness itself. Content of awareness means now there is light and this object is reflecting light. So if you say light doesn't have independent existence, it exists only because of this object, is it correct? Light becomes evident to you because of the object, that is fine. It reflects, so it becomes an object for light to reflect, and because of that you see light. But without the object also light exists. This view doesn't exist. They confuse, they consider contents of awareness and awareness to be the same. So if there is a thought in me, they consider that itself to be awareness. Actually your thought is just an object. It is only an object for your awareness. It is not awareness itself. It is not light itself. It is an object that is reflecting your light, that's all. Do you understand this? I think many are unconscious already. This I gave just an introduction. Just as an introduction to how Westerns view consciousness. You can read up details. I have given material for that. That one article, if you read it, is enough. That man's article only I took it from. So he has surveyed the Western psychologists and psychiatrists, philosophers, and he has given a summary. That article you can see about that confusion between mind and consciousness and self.